Here again with another Breaking Bad Season 4 episode review video. Before I get into that though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Breaking Bad, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you found out that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And for all of you out there that are wondering, I've seen Breaking Bad many times. This is at least my 8th time, although it might even be my 10th time watching this show. So join me on the journey and discuss the show with me and the man, the myth, the legend, the Lucifer and Dexter fanatic, as well as a Breaking Bad himself, Crazy Coffee Man, so we can talk about this awesome and amazing show in the comments section. So with all that in mind, this will be Breaking Bad Season 4, Episode 9. The title of this episode is called Bug. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start off with Walt's glasses on the floor and blood drops all over the place. Well, not all over the place, but random blood drops. And then we have Walt arriving at Hank's place. So we started off essentially with the end of the episode, and now we're going to the beginning. He's picking Hank up to help him, or help Hank get his rocks on. And Marie thinks that's code for strip club. Hank starts singing Eye of the Tiger, not very good, by the way, and Walt pulls into the parking lot of Los Porros Hermanos. Walt gets the tracker from Gus's car. Hank sees that Gus only goes from home to work and work to home, and they go back to Hank's house when he looks up what the tracker tracked. And he knows that something just doesn't add up with that. Like, he doesn't go to the grocery store. He doesn't go this place. I don't know for how many days that they had that tracker on there for. It might even only been for like 24 hours. I can't remember how much time took place in between the episodes. But that's that. And then Walt leaves Hank and then finds out that Tyrus has been following him. I think he knew that initially. And what he does is he pulls up to Tyrus and calls the cops. And Tyrus is like right there listening to this. He says there's a mysterious man in a blue sedan, and Tyrus has to leave Hank's place because he's parked essentially outside Hank's place. Not directly outside, but in that vicinity where he can see Hank and Marie's place. Walt at the laundromat asks Jesse for a cigarette. Walt takes a drag of the cigarette and then coughs right away. So, what are you up to? And Jesse tells Walt he's got to inhale, by the way. He tells Walt he's going to do it. He just hasn't had the chance yet. And then Skyler calls Walt and goes over plans for Junior's birthday family dinner. Well, gee, what a surprise. All Junior's here for is to have dinner and breakfast with the family. She also tells him good business is good. So good that you don't even need to work your second job anymore. Maybe you should start thinking of an exit strategy. So Walt goes to sleep, and then Hank calls Walt, talks about Gus's base of operations, his distribution center, lots of space to hide illicit activity. And Walt tells Hank he caught him in somewhat indisposed, and Hank says he'll find another ride for this one. And Walt says that he actually wants to be the one that takes him there. He just needs a few more days. And then Walt immediately calls Mike and tells him about the ride that Hank wants to take to the distribution center. Skyler adds a few transactions to business. When nobody's even in the car wash, he just brings up a couple transactions to, make the numbers of the car wash even bigger than what they are. And of course, please give this to your car care professional. Ted Beneke shows up. Hey, Sky, you look great. Ted says, you look happy. And Ted says he's going to need to talk to her. He's received a summons by the IRS. He's getting audited. He's facing felony charges, including potential jail time. And he wants to know if there's some way Skyler can help with this or manipulate it so he doesn't end up in jail. And Ted, it doesn't work like that. The damage has already been done. Jesse asks Mike if Gus is going to kill Mr. White or Mr. White's brother-in-law. He'd never cook for Gus again. There's a lot of angles to consider. So Jesse, I think, is trying to implant the notion that don't kill Mr. White or his brother-in-law, Hank Schrader, just because that'll have a ripple-down effect. And then Mike asks if there was something that were to happen to the man, would Jesse have a problem with that? And Jesse says, "Who cares what I think?" And then outside the distribution center, people are getting gunned down, or the meeting place, distribution center, whatever place they're at. I don't know how many random places. I know there's the laundromat, and I know there's like the meeting place, and then there's like the center that they're cleaning up because they know that Hank might come. So I think there's 3 different places. So I'm not sure. I think this was the meeting place where Gus met with the 2 people that ended up killing Tomas and Jesse and Walt at that one time. But anyway, Jesse is just kind of standing there like he's shocked by what's going on because the guy just got his brains blew out. And then Mike runs in the way to save Jesse from a direct hit. "Get comfortable, kid. We may be here a while." And then Gus comes out, walking out in the line of fire. He's not shot at once they know it's him because the cartel can't kill Gus. But they want to, make Gus make decisions on things, so that's why they were shooting up the place. And then Mike and Jesse bring some bodies to the lab, the people that got killed during this shootout, and for some corpse disposal. Mike tells Walt to shut his mouth. "Shut your mouth, Walter." That's not exactly what he said, but he said shut your mouth. And Mike also says if he plans on calling the cops on one of his guys again, he can get a barrel for himself. So when Walt called the cops on Tyrus, that didn't actually make Mike too happy. The bodies are taken care of. Jesse thanks Mike for what he did. "Next time, don't just stand there like an idiot." Mike tells Jesse he's got questions. "Ask Gus yourself." Ted's meeting with a special agent. Skylar arrives. She's all glamored up with her boobies hanging out and acting like kind of a ditzy blonde. And she says when she inputted everything into Quicken, nothing flashed red. So that means it's okay, right? Skylar tells Ted Beneke to settle. Ted says he wishes he could. She wants him to mortgage his house or sell his car, and he's like, "No, I can't do that." And then we have Gus and Jesse meeting at Gus's house. So remember when Walt met Gus at his house, now Jesse is. And he actually is thinking about putting the ricin in a pot of soup, I think it was. And then Jesse asks Gus, "What am I doing here?" And Gus says he invited him into his home so we can sit and talk. He asks Jesse if he can produce Walter's formula without him. "You kill Mr. White, you'll have to kill me too." And Gus says, "That's not what I asked you. I need your help. I need to prevent an all-out war. Now answer the question." Skylar gets up in the middle of the night and looks at the sealed bags of clothes with money inside of them. And Jesse asks Walt if he's heading out of the lab. And Walt says, yeah. And then on his way to the car, Walt drops his keys on the ground. And then he puts a tracker, or he grabs the tracker from Jesse's car. So Walt put a tracker on Jesse's car to track where Jesse's going, because he's been in and out lately. And Walt sees where Jesse has been going as Jesse calls him and leaves a message at the same time that he really needs to talk to him. And Walt goes over to Jesse's place. Remember the beginning of the episode where we saw glasses on the ground and some blood drops? He tells Walt that they want him to go down to Mexico. The cartel want half of Gus's operation, and they want Walt's formula. Jesse tells Walt he needs his help. Maybe he could coach him, or maybe he gives him some notes, because they have chemists that Jesse's going to have to talk to, and Jesse's kind of a moron. He knows the recipe for Walt's cook because he's seen him do it. And I think Jesse does know a little bit about chemistry, but not to the level of Gail Bedecker or these chemists that are in Mexico. Of course, we know how it all works out in the next episode. And then Walt's like, so you saw Gus? No, Jesse says. Walt lets Jesse know that he knows Jesse was at Gus's place. Jesse's really pissed that Walt put a bug on his car, or a tracker on his car. Jesse throws the tracker at Walt. It actually hits Walt right here and gives him a cut and starts bleeding. Of course, it's a cut. And then after Walt said, go to Mexico, screw up, and wind up in a barrel somewhere. And then Jesse and Walt have a WrestleMania apartment fight. Walt hits his face on the coffee table. Jesse with some good ground and pound on Walt. And if I had to score that round as somebody that scores MMA or UFC fights, I would give that round to Jesse because he obviously did more damage to Walt. And then Jesse asks Walt if he can walk, and Walt says, "Yeah." Then get the fuck out of here and never come back. Walt grabs his now broken glasses from what the beginning of the episode was and then leave. And that is what ends this episode of Breaking Bad. So really good stuff here. Really enjoying it. Obviously, things are picking up quite a bit in season 4. At least at the moment, my favorite season of Breaking Bad. But my opinion has changed on some of these seasons. So who knows? This show, I will do another seasons rank video on it because I am a big fan of this show. Some shows I can't, there's just too many seasons for me to keep track of, or a show that I'm not super into, but I still watch it. So I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. Might even be higher than that, but I'll stick with a 9. My character of the episode, I'm going to go with Jesse for the males, even though Gus had some moments and Mike had some moments, but obviously Jesse was more the focal point. And for the females, with the whole thing with the IRS agent or special agent guy, I'm going to give the female character of the episode to Skylar. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Breaking Bad, El Camino, or Better Call Saul, and want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Breaking Bad. You can discuss the moments in this episode with me and the man, the myth, the legend, Crazy Coffee Man himself. Let me know what your score of this episode is. Who would be your character or characters of the episode? Click right here for my Better Call Saul season finale, Better Call Saul series finale episode review video, assuming you've seen every single episode of Better Call Saul. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.